find me where the daylight ends. Stolen time, enough to waste on feeling young again. Destination, decimation, be my detour for a while. And until we're headed nowhere, we can watch the world burn. Take one last look at what we left behind. We can drive forever till the blood moon dies. Too late to start again, so let's live to see the end and leave our shadows when we're gone. Silhouettes against the darkness hanging over us. Don't forget all those places that we used to love. Destination, decimation, be my detour for a while. And until we're headed nowhere, we can watch the world burn. Take one last look at what we left behind. We can drive forever till the blood moon dies. Too late to start again, so let's live to see the end and leave our shadows when we're gone. Destination, desolation, be my detour for a while.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
And we are live. I'm Ronnie James Harris. This is the Limitless Channel, and I'm joined by the host with the most, Jason Laufenberg of Awake Souls. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I've had a rough week. It's been a rough week. I need to unwind. I need to unwind really bad. And so tonight is going to be great. I'm just looking forward to talking to other people that care about the truth and unwinding, because I got wound up this week. And yeah, it's been a tough one. I'm ready for this one to be gone.
Yeah, we got through another week. You know what's funny? I didn't have enough time due to the error of having to get my computer and TV to sync back up. But it was funny because you had sent me that clip of Biden. Do you have that clip somewhere? Is it in Zoom?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, I might screen share that real quick just to show people if you haven't seen it. This is absolutely hilarious. Like, this is the last person that the Antichrist is going to be, okay? Oh, we got to be super careful with what we talk about. Can't talk about anything.
We always do, yeah.
Yeah. But this is pretty funny. Let me just see here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in Friday. We're going to put the link in the chat soon and get everybody who wants to talk. I know I want to have Seth on first and hear from him. It's been a little while. And then whoever else. I think Catherine was interested from, I think, Down Under.
Catherine and Brandon over Unity Research.
Okay.
Yeah, and hopefully Joseph and Mimi and Yahweh's daughter and anybody else that hasn't called in. That would be something too, where if you haven't called in before and all of a sudden you just get a bee in your bonnet and you decide that you want to call in and talk to us.
Yeah, whoever wants
then we would love to hear from you. So if we've got sort of like a queue, if we've got a group building and somebody new joins, I think the entire group would like to hear from the somebody new as well. So it's really a friendly thing. And then what happens, for people that don't know this, when you call in and you're welcome to stay the entire call, and then we end the live stream, but we still have the Zoom call going. And so that is what we call the after hours. That's behind the stage. That's backstage access pass right there, and where we just all talk without being live. So those make for really fun and interesting calls as well. So
yeah, people get to hear more context, right? But
yeah.
So I got this screen shared right now. I think you can see it, right, Jason?
Yep.
Check this out, guys.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
I'll play it one more time.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
Does this bumbling fool, does he really think he's the spirit of like Azazel or Gadriel? Who does this guy think he is?
Like that guy can actually be the anti-Yahawashi. Right?
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
And how many cheeseburgers can you fit into a Coke can when you're canoeing down the street on your 10-speed? Like, what? Does this guy make any sense to anybody? Like, I know he's acting. Okay, let's tell it how it is. He's been an actor for his whole entire life. You can look at all of his political speeches. You'll see everything that he's done. His whole life's work has been videotaped. It's all there. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Oh, I lost my thought after you kept going. I'm sorry.
What? He's just a joke. Come on, guys. All this is scripted.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So the 6th, something did happen. Sure. I bet a bunch of things happened. But okay. He doesn't make any sense. Now, if we had the context before, did you want to talk?
Yeah, it sort of came back to me. So I found that clip on Godlike Productions, and then in that same thread, I guess there's a recent tweet where he says 600, like he spells out the 666 and something that he just recently said, and it was blasting around Twitter today. And so, it's funny because he's Yahawashi. And no, Biden is definitely not going to be the anti-Yahawashi. The scriptures, in order to be fulfilled, the sixth king, right, gets succeeded by the seventh king for a short while, and then the sixth returns. So that can't be Biden. That's not possible, and we all know who it can be, right? So unless if we go an entire another election cycle, it's going to be that guy that we just recently had. So we're looking forward to the Feast of Trumpets and the Last Trump and all these types of things. And Yeah, it just so happens that the guy that claims to be father of a certain thing we can't talk about, that guy, right, could come back and that could fulfill the scriptures. So
Yeah.
if we're looking at this fall festival time, that makes Biden the seventh king that ruled for a short time.
Could be, right?
Mhm.
And then
So we have Seth. I'm going to let him in.
yeah, so the narrative that I see is that they used Trump as the fake right to coerce people onto their side of the narrative, and then they let Trump step down after he became the father of that we shall not name. I'm not drinking any orange juice. I don't think anyone else should either. And then they have the bumbling fool who walks into the roses in the rose garden, doesn't even see where he's going. He can't even talk. He just speaks, mumbles gibberish. Same with the Speaker of the House. She can't talk. She can't speak. It's mockery. It's mockery. And Biden is just a bad actor, and he plays dumb. Someone wrote that for him and said, say this. Now, is there someone behind him? Probably. There's got to be somebody who's more formidable of an opponent than this. This is a joke. But I don't know if you brought Seth in. But yeah, what are your comments, Jason?
I don't know. We've got a whole bunch of topics to go through tonight because when we have call-ins, the conversation gets led by the caller, like questions, the direction the conversation goes. And so we know that we're going to go through a whole bunch of topics, but there's one that I wanted to hit on quick before we got too far, and just didn't get a chance to bring it up again because there was a comment from PJCnet earlier regarding how the hangout that we did recently that showed the equinox as far as what we need to see, the straight line shadows from east to west at the equator, that we pointed out that the heliocentric model has the Earth tilted 23.5 degrees at the equinox, right? So the pole is tilted, and that right there is the end of it. So it's you have to have really gone through this whole process, and you have to have looked at it and understand that if they say that the Earth is perpendicular to the sun at the equinox, that means that there's no tilt on Earth. No tilt. Like that would be zero. Right? 23.5 degrees. They say it's tilted all the time. So that means that when it's in the equinox position, and you would think of it as being sideways to the sun, right, as far as pointing towards it or away from it, but being sideways to it, 23.5 degrees, you can't have a 90 degree and 180 degree sunset, right? You would have to tack on 23.5 degrees on the sunrise, and you'd have to tack on 23.5 degrees in the sunset because it's tilted 23.5 degrees. So this is one of these things where you run into globe earthers and you share the truth with them about how this is a debunk. They know that the vast majority of people just don't have the three-dimensional minds, nor have they looked into it, and do they have correct understanding to actually be able to stand upon solid truth and be able to like say, no, you're the one that's ridiculous, right? I would like to have a public debate with you in a public space and call you out and expose you for such the fraud that you are, or just how your mind doesn't cognate well, and just expose this to the rest of the world, that yes, the Earth would have to be perpendicular at the equinox. It would have to be straight up and down, no tilt, in order to have a 90 degrees east and 270 degree west sunset. And that is end of argument. So that is something that I want to bolster people with, because I love the fact that he took this to globe earthers after having watched a hangout and said, hey, look at this is a debunk of heliocentrism. Well, they came back and said, well, Earth's perpendicular. Not in their model. No, it's not in their model. It's 23.5 degrees. So there's a whole bunch of things that we'd love to have when we put this content out there and people are using it to do battle with heliocentrists and stuff like this. I love the fact that he mentioned something in the chat here so that we could talk about it, because you are absolutely 100% standing with truth. If you know that 23.5 degree tilt, the sun cannot be rising 90 east, 270 west anywhere on Earth. It's absolute impossibility. We can do this all with 3D modeling and show it precisely. Like, so feel safe. Just understand that this is one of the mind tactics that get used by the enemy, where they just try to short circuit you and say, well, the sun's perpendicular. No, the diagram that we were showing has the ecliptic plane, right? It has the Earth in 4 different positions, and it has the ecliptic plane going around, and that right there is the orbits. So orbits, ecliptic plane, these words really could be synonyms. If you look up what an orbit is, it'll say that it's measured to the ecliptic plane, right? So if you have a ring going around the sun like that, you could call it an orbit, or you could call it the ecliptic plane. So you would literally be measuring to that plane. You can just put a protractor on there, measure the angle, and understand that if the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees, you sure can't have a 90 degrees east, 270 degrees west sunset in the heliocentric model. So you just look at it enough to know that you are standing with the truth, and then just absolutely bash people with it, because it is a weapon. It is an absolute weapon. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, get these people to come do a live stream with us, and let us do a live with them. So if they really think that there's something, if you find something that you think is something that's going to be able to defend Earth being perpendicular in the heliocentric model, get them to come talk to us, please.
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, that's what we've been calling for. So do we have Seth with us now? He's back.
I think
now.
he's just back.
Just rejoining?
Yeah.
Do you want, Jason, when you go off camera, if you want to, I'm going to try a different format tonight where it'll be a single person camera. If you could go into your video settings and enable a video background, because you've got the green screen. I don't have time to Chrome. Well, I might be able to Chrome. Never mind. Just chill. Yeah, I like what Jason said. I just want to add on top of that, yeah, whoever's trying to fight back against the true fact that the Earth is motionless and fixed, bring them to us. And that's the key linchpin. If you want to debate curvature, obviously nobody can give you a spot right now where you can go and physically measure curvature. You can't. It's impossible. They won't give you a spot. So the one thing is, okay, well, can we physically measure the Earth's movement? And the answer is no. No, you can't. It's never been measured to move. Now, the scriptures state that the Earth is fixed and immovable. And Jason and I can debate anybody in the world on these facts and show evidence. And we can go into simulation realization and show you evidence that the whole entire reality that you've been sold is absolutely fake, right? But let's bring in Seth. How you doing, Seth?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was late. I had to take somebody home that doesn't have a car, and took them home after work, and it was way out of the way. I've never taken this person home before, and I just went way out of the way, and I was not. I was trying to get here on time, so sorry about that.
No worries. Everything actually worked out where I just finished a rant, and you called back in, so it worked actually perfect.
Yeah, let me do a little rant, but I won't get any channel strikes. So today was the day of reckoning at my job, and I promise I won't cause any channel strikes. And wow, it's just really, really amazing to see people. And I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, but I won't say specifics. But it was really amazing to see people come down to this decision. You know, this decision: either do this and keep your job, or don't do this and not have a paycheck. You know, and not be able to get unemployment. And Yeah, it was really, really crazy seeing that up close and personal, you know, because I'm in an industry, or I'm in a profession that, you know, is really pushing this hard. So it was a tough day to see this kind of thing and talk to people one-on-one, and it's real out there. It's just so crazy. I know a lot of places are having it tough, and anyway, it's tough times, but you know, be of good cheer. The Great Tribulation, we're on the cusp of the Great Tribulation starting, and I just feel that in my spirit and my soul. I just, you know, all creation's crying out. And you know, it talks about in the Apocalypse of Paul, one of the extra canonical scriptures, how the creation cries out to the Father for what man is doing on this earth. You know, the oceans cry out, the seas cry out, the sun and the stars cry out to the Father in the simulation that we're in. Like, hey, can I just do something? Can I intervene? And no, they can't intervene right now. The Father is allowing certain things to happen, and we know the end. That's what's so exciting. We know we have the playbook, and we know how it's going to end, and we just have to finish the race. You know, we have to fight the good fight, and just keep trusting in the Father. I just keep telling people that, keep trusting in Yahweh and Yahawashi, that he's going to carry us through in the midst of absolute destruction, you know, in the midst of absolute, when everything is hopeless and there just doesn't seem to be a way out. He's going to make a way, you know, and I just trust that. And I'm there with anybody that needs help or inspiration, prayer, whatever, you know, reach out to me on Facebook, and I would be glad to connect with you and share experiences and give you real help, you know, interventions, realistic interventions, whatever it may be, because I have a lot of wisdom in these things, a lot of understanding. And but one thing I wanted to talk about, had a cool experience. I told you guys a little bit about it today, earlier today, when I had a group call with you guys, when I was sharing a praise report. And the last hangout, I was talking with somebody, just a day before the hangout, about flat Earth, about our reality in the simulation, and she was saying, like, yeah, well, what about the seasons and the tilt of the Earth, and then bam, you guys, I didn't even talk to you. You guys just came out with this out of nowhere, with this talking about the flat Earth, and how the circle of sight, and how the equinox, and how the path of the sun moves across the from west to east, from 90 degrees to 270 degrees, and just totally just destroy the idea of the Earth tilting 23 degrees, and you know, which they claim is what's causing the seasons and that kind of thing. It doesn't work at all. It's debunked, and then, of course, it's even easier to destroy.
You know what's funny is that just before you called back in, and I was ranting, I was responding to PCJNet, and like, because he said he used the 23.5 degree debunk of the heliocentric model against some globers, and they said the sun is perpendicular to Earth, right? Or Earth is perpendicular to the sun. It's so they just use these. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And so if you get a chance and go back and hear that part of it, this is going to connect really well with what you brought up again. That, I don't know, I guess, who knew that hangout regarding, the equinox and heliocentrism and the fake flat Earth and how this Earth really works, how it actually connected with a number of people at the same time. It's cool.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I actually fell asleep. I was super tired when the live stream was live. So I missed a good chunk of it. And so I was playing it back the next day. I woke up at the end of the live stream and said goodbye. when the music came on. So I missed a good chunk of it, embarrassingly enough. But anyway, I played it the next day because I was off the next day. I just kept playing it. I was like, wow, I mean, like, this is amazing stuff. Two carpenters in Austin, Texas, just absolutely annihilate scientists, you know, PhDs, university experts, you know, NASA, all these guys. I would love to see one of these experts go toe to toe with you guys. I mean, it would be embarrassing.
We begged for it for the last 4 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, you would annihilate them. I mean, even if it was one-on-one, if it was just you versus them, you two versus two, whatever. Each of you guys are just, you were just dishing out the highest level of truth. I tell people that all the time. I promote Team Yahawashi. Like, I am like a Team Yahawashi promoter. I don't want to use the word shill because that we don't like that word, but I just promote Team Yahawashi. And I was like, I promote the links, the content, and I tell people they have the highest level of truth that I am aware of. And I have cried out to the Father. I say this all the time. I cry out to the Father, please, I want to know truth. I seek truth. And I connected with you guys. And it's just remarkable. Like, you guys just keep raising the bar. And I just have nothing but appreciation for what you guys are doing. And I just love how you change up the topics. You just never know what you guys are going to be talking about. I mean, like, I log in and bam, like, it's like the fastest, like when the live streams are running, they just go by so fast. That's how interested I am. Like, when I was a little kid, I used to love watching the A-Team. I don't know if you remember that show, Mr. T, and anyway, that show would go by so fast for me because I loved that show. I couldn't wait to watch the A-Team. That's how I am with Team Yahawashi, whether it's on the Limitless Channel or Awake Souls channel. I just devour the content. Can't get enough of it. And then add in the fellowship in the chat with everyone. And now we're connecting on Facebook. We have quite a team on Facebook now, rallying around Ronnie Harris. So if you go to Facebook, look for Ronnie Harris, please. Add him to your contacts.
I'm almost at 5,000 friends, but a lot of them are from like probably 8 to 10 years ago. So I've got to go through that. But yeah, no, definitely come and follow the channel. And sometimes I put out a lot of stuff. So what you could do is unfollow me. And then what I'm trying to share with people is that you have to go to those 3 lines on the side of your phone or whatever device you're on. You hit that. The magnifying glass comes up. You type in the person's name that you want to check their content out. You go to their page, and then you scroll through their feed, because Facebook does whatever they want with the feed. If they want to mind control someone for this narrative, they'll share your thing. If you don't match what their narrative is, it doesn't get shared. So the best way to see if you like someone's stuff and you want to learn or whatever it is you're looking for with your free time, you go to the 3 lines at the bottom right of your device, you hit that, there's a magnifying glass, you search the person's name, you click on it, and then when you go back to search, that person's name will be remembered. Then you don't have to follow or check the feed in that, because sometimes the algorithm will just blast the stuff in certain ways. And you know, it also does things in weird ways. Like, I've met people, like you had said, you cried out to the Father. Many times I had done something and someone would show up and say, oh, I, like, for some weird reason was like praying so hard, and by accidentally I just managed to land on your video, and it was the exact message that I felt like the Father wanted me to hear. I've gotten that. Jason gets that too. The main thing is that you're crying out, Seth. That's the goal. If you're not crying out, you know, really, what are we doing here? This place is just an absolute hellhole, what they've done to it. The taxation, the Tiny Hat crew, everything that they've done, the way that they repealed the Smith-Munn tax, so everything that's been on television has been a lie, including NASA right down from then till now. The entire narrative from, you know, I shared something that was from 7 years ago where I completely laid out the Gavi, Bill Gates agenda. It's all there. I won't go any further with the orange juice topic. But the most important thing is that you cry out for the truth, because what happens is that if enough people that are righteous cry out, then obviously it can't hurt bringing the end sooner. But I guess everything is written and it's all parabolically, prophetically playing out. And there's nothing we can do to start it or stop it. But I do feel that crying out will lead you to the truth, right, Seth? Like, it's led you here.
Yeah. No, one thing I don't understand what you just said regarding Facebook. You said unfollow me. Why would I want to unfollow
Well, I
you?
mean,
I don't.
some people, because I do a lot of posts in the morning sometimes, and it's like it just blows up. Depending on how many if you're interacting with the character on Facebook, you'll be tagged, so you'll see their notifications whenever they post. If you don't want to see their notifications, but you want to follow that person's stuff, you just search on the magnifying glass and you go to their page. It's pretty simple. Do you understand?
Oh, okay. Well, I want to see all the stuff. I want to see everything.
Well, then it's a good thing for you then, especially if you want to see everything, because they decide what they're going to put into the feed. But if you want to decide, you click on the 3 bars at the bottom right, you go to the magnifying glass at the top right. And listen, I've been trying to share with people the most important thing about spiritual warfare is knowledge. And the key to knowledge is having key words. Right? You can't search anything unless you have the keyword. You can't unlock anything that's encrypted without a password, which is a key word. Literally, a keyword is a password. So, like, if you want to go to my channel and learn about crisis actors, you just type in crisis actors in there's 3 dots beside my name when you go on my channel. You can type anything you want in there. Cats, dogs, happy, sad. Ronnie Shine will get you a whole bunch of stuff if you hashtag that search. That one just unlocks all my creativity stuff. This is the type of thing that people need to do as content creators. You link your stuff up with hashtags. You link them up with keywords. Keywords are the most important thing in spiritual warfare, because if you're trying to debate somebody and you can't mentally pull up the keyword for the thing that you want to respond with, you're going to look like a fool, right? Especially with the scriptures. That's where you should be manifesting keywords. Jason, did you want to add in?
Yeah, just think about a few truther topics where if you know the keywords no planes, or if you know the keywords no floors, or if you know the keywords varanage. So by knowing certain words like this, you blow through certain doors. You go through the first layer of PSYOP, you go through the second layer of PSYOP, and it'll take you to the actual event. And so it's really the keywords. If you can just remember certain keywords, store those in your hard-coded memory, just bang those words into your head as many times as you can, so that you'll at least know to use that keyword. You'll be able to find what it is that you're looking for. But if you don't know the keyword, it's not going to happen.
You'll never find the search if you don't know. Like, another good analogy that I have for it is when I'm searching for music, when I find an artist on SoundCloud and I want to put it into my YouTube playlist, if you want to find that song, because let's say the song has the word sunshine in it, for the lack of a better word, there's a million other songs with the word sunshine in it. But if you get the exact name of the song and the exact name of the artist, boom, the search comes right up. Boom. You click on it. You got it. So it's super important that we learn how to keyword search and we actually learn what keywords are. And then with that, you can get sub keywords. But right now, I think the most important thing that we can do supernaturally is get together with groups and help each other, support each other, be there for comments, help answer things. Anybody that's commenting on Facebook, we need you guys to comment right below here on the YouTube page. This is where we have another whole pipeline to the people that we want to reach, and we feel that, you know, the breath of the Father will lead people to us, but we have to be there. We have to literally take the soapbox out and stand on it. But I'm ranting so much tonight. So we've got Seth already on. Jason, do you want me to open it up, bring in some more people? Should I put it in the chat? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I want to hear some more questions from Seth, and I hope a bunch of other people want to call in too.
Well, I do have a question that I would like some better understanding on. I know you mentioned it today in the when I called you. Can you just touch briefly on the gates of Enoch? I don't fully understand that yet. I just haven't dived into it fully. I know it's very elementary to you guys, but like in the last live stream, you just came right out talking about going through the gates, and you know, to the unlearned that was watching the live stream, that haven't read the Book of Enoch, they're not going to understand what the gates are, you know. So maybe if you could just like elaborate on the gates of Enoch a little bit, just so I could have a better understanding, or anyone else that might be interested in that. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably the best thing for me to do would just screen share this program that we've been using and show everybody at the same time. So we covered it after so Adam Fink told people to go out and get sundials. He said you can know some really important stuff, like when the equinox is, but he wouldn't let people know how to use them because he's an AE map model guy. And anybody that knows how to use a compass is going to understand that the equinox debunks the fake flat earth really, really easy. Heliocentrism as well, once you understand the earth is at a 23.5 degree tilt. So brother, maybe I'll do a screen share, bring up that program. Yes, quick.
I'm ready.
And it's on my camera. All right, I guess it's still open.
It's still running from the last time you had it out?
It is still running.
That's hilarious. Thank you for that.
So I'm going to minimize this a little bit. I'm going to drop this link in the chat so that everybody can play with this. I love playing with it.
So let me ask you a question, Ronnie, while Jason's playing with that.
Yeah, I'm here.
So the guy that created this website, Andrew Marsh, I'm looking at it. Did he make this from a flat Earth perspective? What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
What you're looking at is a plane, a flat infinite plane that's stretched out here, and he's delineated the circle of sight with the thing that's spinning around it right now that you can see that Jason's moving across the screen. I don't know if you can see it, but your circle of sight is the distance to your horizon, and it runs around you in a circle. That's the way that our vision works. Go ahead, Jason.
All right. So right now we're set up with, we're in the south of the equator. So let's move this up. You're like in the Carolinas, right? So I'm going to just guesstimate this. And now I'm going to reorient this. I'm going to stop the camera. Get the sun up in the day. And I want all of us to get our bearings here. And you should be able to relate to this really well. So right now we have north at the top here. We have the east on the right, the west on the left, south down. Now let's pick a day like the equator, the equinox. We're going to go to September 21st. They're on a fixed. It's not always the 21st. Sometimes it changes. And this slider is hard to move. So the closest I could get it is the 22nd. Now what I want to do is get us down here by the east. And now this is what you call an orthographic view. This side on, you will absolutely never, ever see in life ever. Right? It's an impossible view. Unless if you're in a simulation and you can actually look at a file like this, because what we see is always our eyes looking at our surrounding from our observation point. So this whole model is set up with the observation point being at the center of this, down like under that tall red building, and that this is the path around that tall red building. Right? So you can put the observer down there. And so these are the shadows that are going to be cast. Now, the ticks are going to be a little bit hard to see. I'm going to get in as close as I can. But see where the ticks are for the compass right here. They used to have little red ticks on this yellow feature here, but they actually took those away. but you can still see these dashed lines. So you have this dashed line, that is the center position. That's the fourth gate according to Enoch. Now up here, it's a certain amount of ticks, and Enoch says 30. So if we go, we're on the 22nd here, and if we go tick, we got to go the other way. So tick, 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 tick. And as we go tick by tick by tick, once we get out to this line out here, this dashed line, it won't go right on it. It skips one over. So we're at like August 21st. So that's 30 days. All right, now if we go out to this dashed line that's out here, see, it jumps right past, right about there. So we're at July 23rd here, but it's 30 days there, 21st. So 30 days, 30 days. Each one of these hash line groups here, this is the center mark. This is the fourth gate. Then you go 30 days, then you go 30 days. And guess what? On this outside one, it's 15 ticks to the outside. And I know you're going to be able to guess how many ticks back. All right, so another 15 ticks, and you're back here. So then 30 days, and then that's your equinox again. So the gates here are these dashed lines that as I move this around, you can see the dashed lines out here, and then you can also see that those dashed lines, as you move the slider, let's get the sun up here in position right on this like right there. So now as I move the date, I want to slide it over a little bit so that it date. Oh, the time, if I move the time, there we go. All right, so now I'm trying to get it to,
Can I read here? And from the book of Enoch, chapter 72, it says, "And I saw there this, the first law of the luminaries, the luminary of the sun, and its ascent is in the portals of heaven which are towards the east, and its descent is in the western portals of heaven. And I saw 6 portals, of which the sun ascends, and 6 portals into which the sun descends. The moon also rises and sets in these same portals," right? So what Jason is showing you is these portals, right? And first there comes forth the great luminary, which is the sun, and his circuit is like the circuit of the heavens, and he is entirely filled with flame and heat. And they're wagons on which he ascends. So the sun cartwheels like a wagon wheel. That's why Enoch says there, the wagons on which he ascends are driven by the wind, and the sun descending disappears from the heavens and returns through the north, out of the order to reach of the east, and is led to come to the portals, and shines on the surface of earth and heaven. And thus he comes forth in the first month in the great portal, and he comes forth from the fourth of these 6 portals towards the east. And in the fourth portal, which the sun comes from, is the fourth in the first month. So the fourth portal is how we have Passover, right? Passover is in the fourth portal. So Jason,
equinox.
So the equinox. That's correct.
Yeah. So I can't get the time slider to get the sun exactly on this yellow path, but you're going to see that as I move the days throughout the year, look at the way it traces this path right next to it, following that shape. That shape right there is called the analemma. So this shows every day of the year the path of the sun for each location based on latitude and longitude. We can move this anywhere on the earth, and this is the path. So the big thing for people to start grasping is the fact that the sun is rising out of the ground, be it land or be it water, to your east, right, at a distance to the horizon that you can see. So whatever the farthest thing is that you can see in your circle of sight, if you get a little elevated and you can see 10 miles or 15 or 20, hooray, chances are you're not seeing 30 unless if you live up on a mountain. That is the distance that the sun is actually traveling around you from horizon to horizon. And that because it's based on an angle around you, this is a constant 15 degrees per hour rotation wherever you are on Earth. So that is just a constant speed. Now you can see that there's a couple markings that are being shown here. You got this line coming around. So that is your azimuth.
Sorry,
go ahead. That everything is being measured off of north. And then if you look here from the side, that is your altitude. So anybody that tells you that the equatorial mounts for telescopes or for all these types of things prove that we're on a globe, it's absolutely laughable. It proves that we're on a flat plane, because these are the two measurements. Any transit will be able to give you these two measurements, your azimuth and your altitude. And this is the course of the luminaries around the observer. And
right.
it's very close, right?
Yeah, well, and to add to that, brother, it says here in Enoch, and that which thus ascends is the great luminary, as it is called on account of its appearance, according to the command of Yahweh. And thus he ascends and descends, and is not diminished, and does not rest, but runs day and night in his chariot, and his light shines 7 times brighter than that of the moon. But as regard, they are both equal in size. So the key things to point out in that statement that Enoch just said was exactly what Jason said. It is not diminished. He does not leave his path. He stays the exact same speed constantly, which is another huge heliocentric and AE map model debunk. So if we're flying and turning and curving, the sun itself would have acceleration and deceleration as the Earth would. We don't see any of that when we actually measure anything. The sun is the exact same speed from anywhere on Earth. It always does the same thing. It rises and sets and has its path. It's 15 degrees per hour. And it says also here, he runs day and night and has no rest. So it's always day or night everywhere on Earth. Somebody's either seeing a sunrise or a sunset everywhere all the time. This is a simulation, and Enoch completely explained it. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, and I have a question. So have you guys been able to calculate, or has anyone calculated that's not running a PSYOP, the actual speed?
Yes, yeah.
Of the sun?
A few people did. You can do it through the rise and set in your city, and then someone else on a live stream and a rise and set on your next city. And it's already been completely verified that the timeanddate.com has absolutely every measurement perfect. Not perfect, because that word doesn't exist, but it matches exactly what we see. Jason?
Yeah, so if you're looking for a 90-degree meridian crossing of the sun at the equator, you'll see that if you do the calculations, it's going to be like 1,000 miles an hour. And then as you go towards the northern latitudes, it slows down both to the north and to the south. So this is one of those points that bodes well for the heliocentric model and actually annihilates, super annihilates the Freemason New World Order AE map model, because the farther you go out south of the equator and you do those measurements, they slow down exactly the same to the south latitude as they are to the north. So as you understand that up at 45 degrees latitude north, that the sun travels slower. 45 degrees south, it's the same speed.
This is a huge problem, brother. I don't know if everyone completely understands. If we were on the AE map model and the sun was circling around us, the further the sun moved outwards in the circle, it would have to speed up immensely to have the same 24-hour reappearing. To make it from meridian to meridian, midday, the sun would have to be racing through the sky in the AMAPA model. What Jason just said was the further out you get, it actually diminishes in speed. Well, not speed.
The same
Not speed.
But that speed right there is where many people go astray. And
day length.
So, no, it is day length. But people attribute day length to the sun. So here's the issue. If you picture the sun as a moving object up in the sky, traversing the face of Earth, going across the face of it from one side to the other, that's how you conceptualize the speed, the travel of the sun. So if you saw that graphic for that hangout where we're talking about this, you could see when the day dawned at one place, and then when the day dawned at another place. So at the equator, it has a speed to it as far as that meridian passing is concerned. And then the farther north or south that you go, it's slower. It is slower. So across the map. And we've talked about so many times how this world was designed to mimic being on a sphere, but while being a simulation and using 3D geometry that is doable. Because if you were to do all the calculations for every angle based off of everything being off of a sphere, you would have to ray trace every single frame, every single one. So it's not efficient. The efficient way to do it is to do it in a 3D flat plane world, but you can make the motions of the sky appear that you're on a sphere. So that would be the great deception. The Father, when he created the path of the luminaries around the observer, it was designed to mimic being on a sphere. Exactly. So that the Satans could use that to then, because he knew that the only excuse that you could have for not having a creator on a flat plane is, everything exploded from nothing. I mean,
that's the only thing they can get. That's the only thing they can come up with. Yes, you're right. And not only that, but Enoch prophesied that in the last days that men would take these luminaries to be gods, godreals, and worship them. Right? That's what he predicted, and it perfectly came to pass. Right?
So I just want to show you here, Seth. This should be a view that you would recognize if you were in a city near you at the equinox, and you were down here on the ground, and you looked up. As I move the sun here, this is the elevation. Right, they're saying that your altitude, the sun would have been 55.56 degrees up in the sky. There it is right there. And then as it's coming around here, see, it's rotating right around the observer. You get into this position here, you're watching the sun going down, it's going like this. And as we get in here, this program even has some shadowing built into these surfaces. You'll get some reflections. So here we are up on this deck downtown, and the sun's going down. This is a latitude near you, and this is the path of the sun coming down, and it's come down here, and boom, no more shadows. It is down. Now this animation doesn't end here, right? If you take a look back at this, it's going to follow the exact same arc. It's going to come around here. It's following that exact same arc. And then what's going to happen is as it comes up here the next day, let's pretend this is the next day. So it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up. And it is going to come up one tick further. Right when it comes up, there's just one more tick. Tick. Right down at that edge. You can see now we're 1 day further. Tick off of that dash line. That was the equinox. So the equinox is the day that the sun rises due east, sets due west everywhere on Earth. It doesn't matter where I pull this pin around. If I leave the day the same, watch this. I'm going farther south. I'm going farther south. Let's get this into a daylight time. All right, so now we're down here on the equator. Now it's going straight up over here. Now watch what happens. Watch what happens as we go south. All right, this rotation just tilts the other way. And now what we have is the sun rising from the east over here, circling around people like this and setting to the west over here. That's all that's happened, is that rotation around the observer has gone from straight up and down at the equator, tilted at the angle to the south and the north, back up to straight up and down, and then tilted to the north from the south. Now, as you tilt this, Polaris went down. It's below the horizon. You're not going to see Polaris there. Now, what the people down south are going to do is they're down here. They're going to look 180 degrees due south, and they're going to look up in the sky, and they're going to see a clockwise rotation of the stars down here. Clockwise rotation. So there's other programs. Well, Stellarium. We can always go to Stellarium and show people all those rotations of the sun, moon, stars, and everything. This right here helps a person visualize this out on the flat plane. The shadows here really help, in my opinion, of people seeing what's going on. And the more we show people this motion around the observer in your local circle of sight, you're going to get it at a certain point where you are going to realize for certain that you are in a simulation. And that one video I put out, like on a summer day, when you look up, so we're north of the tropic of Cancer, right? We're north of that, so the sun is never going to be 90 degrees overhead. Never. So here we are up in Texas, and what that means is that this loop right here, it doesn't make it to 90 degrees overhead. It doesn't. If you drew a straight line up from the center of this diagram, this line would loop around it to the south. Now, if I pull this down farther south, you'll be able to see, oh, yeah, now it actually does make it 90 degrees overhead. Up by us, it won't. But what will happen is you'll be down here, a cloud will go over your head where it looks like it's directly over your head, like straight over your head, but it's only a few degrees off. It'd be like 90 degrees over your head. Little cloud. And then all of a sudden you'll feel this absolute reprieve from the sun. It cools down. You feel like an intense temperature change. Right? And you're going to realize that the sun is the cloud. The sun is right up here. Let's get it into position. Let's bring it to here we go. Here's your hot summer day. Sun's right up here. This little cloud right here is the break. You can see that you are directly in the shadow of that cloud. That there's all around you to the horizons, sunlight everywhere, but this one little cloud above you gives you the reprieve. And then you're going to understand that the sun is right above that cloud. And then as you watch, a lot of times in these summer days, as it's coming down here, here's your cloud layer level. Let me just draw a quick line across here. Here's your cloud layer level. And what's happening is that the sun is, I gotta kill it's not that. Back to mouse. All right, so what's happening is that the sun's coming down and there's your cloud layer. And this is the point where you're going to sometimes see clouds behind the sun and clouds in front of the sun. We've been seeing it more and more lately. So it goes through this layer, and then once it's below that layer of clouds, then the clouds are being underlit. You'll see airplanes flying around when the sun's coming down like this. The plane's wings are underlit. So both in heliocentrism and the Freemason New World Order AE Mappa model, that's not going to be a reality. The heliocentrism more than the AE Mappa model, that one super fail. But then the sun comes down, and as we saw tonight, we saw these incredible rays glistening up in the sky, anti-crepuscular rays glowing up.
So, want me to send you a clip of that?
Oh, do you have any more questions regarding this, Seth? Or
the chat really enjoyed the presentation. It was very simple.
Yeah. So the clouds behind the sun, it's a phenomenal thing that happens. That is verifiable. You can see this happening at different times. It's well documented. I mean, do the NASA shills, the heliocentrist shills that claim that the sun is 93 million miles away, are they just gonna just pretend that that's not happening?
Yeah, they say it's the brightness of the sun. It's the brightness
of the sun.
Yeah.
And then of course the AE map guys that claim that the sun's 3,000 miles away doing circles. You don't hear them talking about it either. So,
well, they call it proof of a local sun. That's proof of a local sun.
But how could it be local if it's 3,000 miles away?
That's local to them compared to 90 million.
So they'll show you the footage because they'll wow you. They're like, oh, look at these clouds behind the sun, and then they're like, this is proof of a local sun. That's it. Because 3,000 is local to 93 million, right?
Well, have you guys been able to capture the moon clouds behind the moon?
Yeah, that's the first thing that was captured. Ronnie caught that first before people were talking about clouds behind the sun.
Specifically, have you filmed it? I think you have too. I've seen you film it, but not like the crazy ones yet.
Yeah.
But see, that's the problem with society today. Most people are just caught up in their phone screens and hustle and bustle of going to and fro, like Daniel talks about. They don't spend time just looking up and observing, I think we all should take a pause and spend more time looking up at the heavens and observing our reality in front of us. Because you guys are big on observing, your circle of sight. That's the big thing that you guys pound.
Document it with the best tools available.
Yeah. I think everyone here in this chat, everyone or listening, watching this live stream just needs to spend more time. And anytime you see these things, take pictures, of course, and post them on Facebook, I'm personally not doing it enough. So I need to be mindful of that myself. Instead of just absorbing other people's content, creating my own content and, making my own observations. Because, we all have different perspectives in different parts of the earth, so we can capture these things. So yeah, I'm going to start doing this more myself. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've got the skills and the intelligence and you understand it. Now, we did have a comment from PJ CNET. Says the shills always claim overexposure. So yeah, we have explained it. In the last clouds behind the sun footage that we got, you can clearly see that there's clouds in front of and behind. right? So now they're going to say, oh, it's only overexposure on that cloud. And I say, well, unfortunately, you just debunked your own claim. And if it was overexposure, none of the clouds would appear in front of the sun. They would all appear behind, right? But yet you have clouds that clearly go in front and behind, right? And we use different filters to show that as well. Did we want to bring more people on? We're already an hour and 10 in.
Sure. Did you as we're
not
as
that
we're
I don't
bringing-
love talking to Seth. Excuse me, Jason. I'm sorry. I didn't want to. It sounded a little rude. I didn't want to be rude.
No, but as we bring more people in, do you feel like you see the 6 gates now?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to dig into the Book of Enoch myself and see what Enoch has to say about this and meditate on it. What an amazing book that is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I put it in the chat, Jason. I do see that there's 3 of us here. Good things come in threes. Or start with threes. Not 3 in 1, 3 separate beings in a unity, a tri-unity, right? As Seth likes to say.
There you go.
Well, I think that's Benjamin that says that.
Oh, I thought I had heard Seth say it.
Well, we don't believe in the Trinity.
No.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. It was Benjamin.
We're not Trinitarians.
Tri-Unitarians. Tri-unity.
Yeah, that wasn't me. I've never.
That was Benjamin.
that.
Jason.
Benjamin. Okay.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Benjamin. Because it is a tri-unity. It's 3 things working together. The Spirit, the Father.
Is Benjamin in the chat?
Yeah, he's here. He's back home. Loves the Book of Enoch, says Becca. Becca Shine. I think Katie wanted to join, right? From Down Under.
Yeah, I'd like to hear an Australian perspective because they're being pummeled down there.
As long as we
Yeah,
don't... Go ahead.
Maybe Katie can call in because well, we have a little bit of history. I don't know if Katie wants to talk about it at all.
Yes,
Katie's been around for a while, or Catherine.
But so Florida. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Florida man had asked a question. Are there 4 corners? Yes, there absolutely is. Jason, do you have our map there? Or it'll take a while to get. Okay, so basically what I want to state is it teaches in the Cave of Treasures that there are 4 sections to the Earth. There's always been 4. You have 2 sections in the north side of the map, and you have 2 sections in the south side of the map. The 4 corners of the Earth, they meet in the center of the realm, and that will be exactly at Golgotha, where Yahawashi took the torture stake. Right there, boom. That's the center of the 4 corners, and we can show it. There's the gates. That's the sun moving through the gates. There's the map. And so, as
Hello,
you can
Catherine.
see, 1 second, Catherine.
Hi.
1 second. Let me just quickly finish this. The green line down the center of the map, that gives you your center. The red line that's smiley facing through, that delineates the top and the bottom. So then you just separate them into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you have the 4 corners of the Earth.
Yeah. So the red line that is the equator. That is the place that on the equinox has the sun rising 90 degrees east, setting 270 degrees west, traveling in a straight path. Now, you say, how can it travel in this straight path? Remember, this is not it's not a glowing ball of fusion up in the air traveling across this map like this. It's not going like this. The sun actually rotates around the observer, like we've been just demonstrating, down there on your level, the distance that you can see from horizon to horizon. So this right here, I know Q and P is going to have a problem with it. I already saw he put something up. But this line right here, when you project this to a sphere in a 3D modeling program like Blender, becomes the circular equator that you think of like a stripe around a pool ball or a croquet ball or something like that. All 3 of these lines become croquet ball type lines. That's the amazing thing when you take a stereographic map and wrap it to a sphere. And I know it's a lot to absorb.
No.
We're going to be demonstrating it again because QNV is bringing it up again. So we'll have to re-demonstrate how straight lines on this map, when wrapped to a 3D sphere, become great circle routes. Mm-hmm. Now these lines right here, when wrapped to a sphere in a 3D program like Blender, become what you would call straight lines. Now, these are straight lines around a sphere, so there is no such a thing. It's
He doesn't have Blender. He doesn't have a 3D modeling program. He just uses what's that called? You know, the editing program that he uses, right? Photoshop, like beta version, like circa 98 or something.
All he knows is how to put diapers on people's faces. That's the only thing he knows.
Wait a minute. Who are you guys?
Yeah, we don't.
I missed that.
We don't even need it. It's Q. His name's Q. He goes by Q.
Oh, Q and Fee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy hates you guys.
Yeah, but he misrepresents everything. Everything that he does is so easy to pick apart. He's nonsense. But let's move on. So we have Catherine here. She's been away from the channel for quite a few years now. Right off the bat, a bunch of the channels that you shared, I see you stopped sharing them a little bit. Gons and Basil are absolute shills. All they do is promote the technocratic New World Order. They're working hand in hand with them. Their shows are just filled with 666s and 33s. You watch, they do like donate drives. Everyone's 333 and 666. They're paying them. The Call for an Uprising is an absolute rabid Satanist. All he ever does is share satanic content. Every single video, he just covers nothing but mainstream Hollywood Satanism, and he tries to target children. Let me think of the other channels. But anyways, that's all out of the way. But I do see you taking excellent notes and sharing great stuff and promoting TEAMYAHAWASHI. Like, thank you for that. I want to say thank you personally.
Yeah, thanks. Doing a little bit of that, yeah. I thought like after every show I'd do a short video about
sharing great stuff and promoting TEAMYAHAWASHI.
Oh, you've got the live stream going.
I want to say thank you personally.
Yeah, if you muted it, you got it. Go ahead.
After every show I'd do a little video about you guys so I can promote it a little bit. Like, that's as far as I'm interested in going at the moment. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I see you take down notes. You take down the bullet points. I think I'm way too loud. Does anyone else want to talk? I'll be quiet.
Well, Catherine, what part of Australia are you in?
I'm in South Australia, so
Keep in mind,
I used to.
we can't talk about anything to do with the orange juice. I'll just let everyone know.
Yeah.
They'll just take us down.
Yeah, I used to be in New South Wales. That's when I was in Singleton, and I was calling. That was a few years back, and I messed up, and I posted shield channels in the comments and in the chat, and didn't take your advice, and but now I'm willing to do the right thing. Like, so I deleted all the stuff off my channel. So just to make sure that I wasn't putting any shield channels out there, I was just wondering, is there any channels that I can talk about that's okay, or is it just your channel that you feel is okay to talk about?
Well, it's up to you, Catherine.
Yeah.
It's absolutely up to you. We can't tell you who you can and who you can't talk about. Other than that, we don't promote anything that we can see clearly as being shill content. And the way we define shill content is it has to be somehow in contradiction to the four fundamental truths. So there's 5 and 6. A lot of the people in the audience know what the 5th and 6th are already. But the whole idea that if somebody's gonna say that we're on a spinning ball flying through space, they're not speaking truth.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second thing, if they're gonna say that we're on an AE map, a model with the sun and moon doing circles 3,000 miles up, they're not speaking truth. And then we've got people like Mark Sargent who still promote nukes are real, right? So the people that say that atoms are real. So the whole AE mappa model is a materialistic, atomistic approach, and it's all Kabbalism. And then we take it even another step farther that we're Christians. So
that's where I want to comment.
Yeah, if somebody's not going to be using the only name that you must be saved by, we call those people shills too. So until a person can actually get through at least those 4 hoops, we can't back them.
Okay.
Right?
Especially,
yeah, I think that,
go ahead.
I think that probably knocks out a lot of the channels that I watch. So.
Especially if they're using, if you're a learned teacher, if you have a YouTube channel, Catherine, and you're out here saying that you're a inspired man of God or woman of God, if you're using the word God, you're giving a shout out to Godriel, the fallen angel that tricked Eve. You won't hear me doing that. And then the name Jesus, which means earth pig. G-sus. Literally, G means earth and sus means pig. Right? So anyone that's going around who's proclaiming to have any kind of word of truth from the breath of the living Father, which people call the Holy Spirit, we know right off the bat, boom, I can tell right now they're not inspired. Especially if someone starts telling you prophecy and then they tie that into the spinning ball heliocentric model, they're lying to you. They're deceiving you. So these are the 4 fundamental truths, like Jason has said, is really a protection barrier, and it's a fast track to things that are good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it just seems like you're the only channel that's got the 4 or 5 or 6 fundamental truths. So
It's up to 8.
Yeah.
It's up to 8.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it does seem that way because it actually is that way, and that's one of the things that makes us stop and take pause. That, you know, how is it that we're nailing fundamental truths like this, where we can actually debate anybody in the world on these topics, and we know that it would be a melee, it would be a total throwdown, because they're actually simple truths to substantiate and show that it's the truth. And then we can actually show where the opposition, so the people that say we're on a spinning ball, we can show people where that came from. We can show people where the Freemason New World Order AE map and model came from. We can show people where atomism came from. All these things, we can show their origins are from Kabbalism, and it's really been the Vatican that's been the main disseminator of all that disinformation. Yeah, but so why is it only the 2 of us? Well, there's more there, but we've taken the lead on it for sure. There's no questioning that.
That's good. Further to this kind of figuring out who to watch or who to listen to, kind of a similar question. I'm not sure if you go to church, and if you do, what type of church is it? I had a thing happen yesterday. I went to an Omega Fire church yesterday, and I was thinking it might be good to understand if I'm in a bad church, if you understand that kind of thing.
Well, how do you feel? What do you get from it? Does he read some passages from the scriptures and try to relate it to your life, or does he actually break down the prophecy? Has this person in your church talked about any of the prophetic things that have been happening?
In both churches that I'm going to, well, there was a Baptist church, and there was a Mega Fire church, which I went to last night. They don't seem to talk about prophecy. No.
That means that the church is spiritually cut off. Basically, the axe was laid to the root, and basically the only place you are the church. Your person, your body is the temple, not a building. If people aren't telling you that the sign of the star of the Son of David that took place leading up to the Revelation sign that we saw in the sky, if people aren't breaking that down, letting you know of the amazing things that we've been seeing, they're not not even Holy Spirit, that's the wrong word. They don't have the breath of Yahweh speaking through them, because these are the things that we've been witnessing to. If you go there and you enjoy the singing and the communion, you talking with other people and sharing truth with them, that's great. I would never say don't do that, but I would always be in a position where, when I was going to churches, Catherine, I was confronting them saying, hey, have you read the book of Enoch? And of course nobody wanted to hear it. Have you heard about this, the infancy gospel of Mary? It says here all this extra stuff. Have you read these? And nobody would accept me. Nobody really took to that. You know, I was looked upon as someone who's looking outside of what we need to do. So for me, the best church is like by a river with the scriptures, reading them, hearing them, and sharing them with other people and loving people, right? Everything we do is our church. Every action we take, everything we think, everything we do, that's how we show people who we are, right?
I'll try to breeze through my personal experience as far as church is concerned. So having grown up Jehovah's Witness, it was 3 times a week, but we didn't call it church. That was like the worldly term for it. So there was a great amount of communion there and great friendships within that organization that are actually difficult to leave. Now, I did leave it, and then I went atheist for a while, then agnostic, came back to spirituality. And so down the road back to, spirituality, there was a spiritual teacher that I was paying attention to that had mentioned the unity church, unity. And so I looked it up, and there was one in Austin, and I decided to go check it out.
Are you talking about Unitarianism?
It's just called Unity Church.
Because I've heard of Unitarianism.
Yeah. And so I checked it out, and it wasn't anything special, but ex-wife was sort of interested in maybe going to church and stuff like that. And so we had gone like once, but then Flat Earth came along, and I got to the point where I knew the Earth was flat, and she wanted to go back. But this time I wanted to talk to the pastor about Earth being flat. And so I waited afterwards, got his ear, and started going into explaining how Earth was flat. And this guy just about had a heart attack. He had to sit down, and he had to regather himself. And then he eventually called in an assistant to just like dismiss me. And so I'm like, ever since that, I realized that any one of these pastors, I'm going to say, hey, listen, the Bible says Earth is flat. And if they deny it, I'm like, you're anti-biblical. I'm like, there's something not right here. So for me, I can't go to a place where there's a pastor that's going to be out of harmony of the 4 fundamental truths anymore, because I know I'm going to get into an argument with them, and it's not going to go well.
Hey, Jason, I'd like to add a comment on Jehovah's Witness. Because where I work, there's a Jehovah's Witness there. And so she informed me that Jehovah's Witnesses are not meeting in person anymore. It's all
it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, it's all on Zoom. So these guys, that religious organization, they're straight cucks. I mean, they're just like bent over to the New World Order and to the agenda. And
well, it's worse than that.
To those guys.
It's worse than that. The founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses was a guy named Charles Taze Russell. So Russell is one of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. He is direct lineage of a 13 Illuminati bloodline. And he was funded by, was it the B'nai B'rith or whatever, the funding agency of the Rockefellers for these fake religions. So the Joseph Smith, Charles Taze Russell, and the Scientologist guy, Hubbard, they all created these new religions, these modern religions, and they're all like 33-degree Freemason created religions. It's pure Freemasonry.
Wow, are you serious? All these guys were Freemasons?
Yeah, pure Freemasonry.
Not that's not surprising actually, but that's interesting information. Hey,
they may not know it. They may not know it because only the guys that make it up into the upper positions actually know what's going on. Because I didn't know it growing up. I had no idea.
All right, I got an important question for everyone here in the Zoom call and anyone in the chat. And I will not cause a strike. So I'll use careful language. But is any pastor anywhere, like, or any of the churches, because I have pastors in my Facebook groups, or excuse me, my Facebook friends list, and I see their posts showing up in my stream. There's a few pastors, churches I've been to in the past and that kind of thing, or actually two pastors that I'm familiar with, not just two in specific, but they post a lot, and I see them in my stream. But I don't watch, like, I don't go to churches. I don't believe in that stuff anymore. So I'm kind of disconnected from the church, air quote, church community. And I don't watch Christian television because I just can't watch that stuff. It's so shallow. I don't get any, I don't get fed from it at all. There's no depth to it. But anyway, is anyone, and I'm going to be careful, and anyone answers, please be careful. But is anyone speaking out?
No.
About the orange juice?
They're going all in. No, it's from Yahweh, right? The orange juice.
So I would think it would be very important as a pastor, as the shepherd of your flock, to be warning your people, like the most, like if the mark. Okay, I'll just say Mark. Hey, if that's being unleashed in the realm, in the world, like, wouldn't you want to warn your people about it? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of a relevant topic to be talking about?
The great falling away had to be fulfilled, right? So the church was always going to be the place where that was going to take place. Always. That was what it was prophesied to do.
Well, and you have to keep in mind that so one of the things that we found out when researching these fundamental truths, like the sixth one, is that the only religions, Christian-based religions in the world that do not think of Yahawashi and Yahweh as being a trinity are like Jehovah's Witnesses and a couple others that nobody's ever heard of. That's it. All right. So every other Christian, Protestant, Catholic, you name it, every single one of them treat Yahweh and Yahawashi as a trinity. So they've all succumbed to the Trinitarian doctrine. Every single one of them. Now, one of the things that I consider is that seminary, this is like a college degree for being a priest. So you have to go to school, be educated at some university, and then they decide that you can then be a priest or a minister or something like that and get paid. So what are the chances that the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Knights Templars, all these secret societies have been able to get their people through these colleges and into people's churches? I know that there might be a few pastors or reverends or whatever you want to call them out there that aren't Freemasons, but I have a feeling that number is super small. Really, really, really small.
We have some new people that joined.
Hey, I do have a funny story. Can I share a funny story?
Yeah.
Okay, so Catherine lives in South Australia. It's a very large state in Australia. It has 380,000 square miles. It's Texas, in comparison, has 268,000 square miles. So this is bigger than Texas, substantially bigger than Texas. Okay, just to give the listeners a little perspective of how big of a state that Catherine lives in. So several months ago, I was watching John LeBon video popped up on my YouTube. So I was watching it, and he was, you guys are familiar with John LeBon, and he's an Australian. He's not from South Australia, but anyway, he was relaying a story, and I'll be careful not to cause a channel strike. But here's the story. Here's what happened. It was a few months ago. I'm sure Catherine's aware of it. I don't know how long ago. It could be 6 months. The time is blurring to me. But there was basically a pizza guy, a pizza delivery place
Oh, yeah.
that allegedly had an infection. Okay, that's all I'll say. Well, the leaders of South Australia shut down the entire state of South Australia, 380,000 square miles, because a pizza guy might have been infected. That just shows you the absolute insanity, you know, of what goes on in Australia, and it's just mind blowing. It's like, are these guys serious? You know, like what the heck are these guys doing down there? You know, or in Australia? I mean, that's just absolute, just ludicrous clown show material. Shutting down a state way bigger than Texas because one, I guess it was in Adelaide or somewhere, wherever it was.
Woodville.
Where was it?
Woodville?
Yeah. So Catherine's aware of the story, and we got to be careful.
Yeah, you're really.
I mean, like, what?
Yeah,
that's
can't.
what goes on. That's what the.
I know. Over that, which is
with.
Really ridiculous. When I'm not even going to continue. I can't. Continue.
I know, but imagine shutting down the entire state of Texas because somebody in Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. The orange juice stuff is crazy. You know, I wish we could talk candidly. We are going to find
no, this is not even orange juice. Like, this is not even orange juice.
We'll find a completely different platform, and we'll have
Please,
we are working on it. I do believe that somebody has joined. We do have 40, 45 minutes, 55 minutes left. Or no, sorry, 24 minutes left and counting before we hand over.
Ronnie's got a stopwatch on.
I do.
So we have.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So we have Brandon that's joined, Joseph that's joined, and we have Yuki Coswell, who I don't think I know. So, any one of you, maybe Yuki, are you available? I'd like to hear
Yuki. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, let's hear from Yuki. We've never heard this person.
Yuki is muted. And they unmuted and muted.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me? What's going on?
No, we want to hear Yuki.
It's Anthony B. It's Anthony. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Yuki is unmuted as well. Hang on, Joseph.
Yeah, no, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Joseph.
Oh, Yuki muted again. Go ahead and unmute, please, Yuki. We'd like to hear from you. All right, they're unmuted. We still don't hear anything, though.
Maybe they don't have the mic set up right.
It's possible.
But sorry, Joseph. I called you Anthony. Don't know if Anthony.
Yeah, I was wondering who Anthony was.
He's an old TEAMYAHAWASHI member. He went with was it Nick Vanderlane, and Daniel and John were the two witnesses, right?
And Derek Laborde.
But that's cool.
So Yuki is unmuted. I think I hear something. Oh, muted again.
Well,
I think they're getting it. There's mute, unmute.
I'm like waiting with bated breath.
You're unmuted, Yuki, but we still can't hear you. And we keep trying to work on your microphone situation. There is an up arrow next to the microphone that lets you select your microphone. Sometimes you have to switch your microphone. So Joseph, we've got you here. What's going on, brother?
Oh, not a whole lot. Good to be here with you guys. It's been a long week. Had a lot going on this week.
I hear you. This was a tough one for me.
Yeah, me too. Had the truck breakdown and been working on that and just trying to get to work on time and trying to get that fixed, and everything else I got to do is just piling up, kind of running myself ragged right now. But other than that, it's been good.
The weekend came just in time. I was starting to wear down.
Yeah, I got one more day. I got to work tomorrow, but yeah, I know I didn't want to, but I guess I will. Anyway, so if I can ask a question real quick,
Yeah, please.
I was wondering about, I've been kind of trying to figure this out in my head, but with the, in the northern region or the realm or whatever, North America, looking north,
Yeah.
the way the stars rotate,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I heard either you or Ronnie mention a few times that they like cartwheel
That's correct. Yes.
counterclockwise.
The moon cartwheels, but the stars rotate counterclockwise around Polaris.
Okay, but it's
Oh.
not perpendicular.
That was a little bit of a. So they rotate counterclockwise on the top two sides of the map, and on the bottom two sides they go clockwise.
Right.
And the sun and the moon both cartwheel through the sky, just like Enoch said on wagons. They wagon
Okay,
wheel. Wagon
I
wheel, you know how
understand.
wagon wheel turns?
Right.
They both turn like that. No one's ever seen the back of the sun or the moon, right?
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
Okay.
So I got Stellarium up, and we're looking south right now. What I'm going to do is turn around, look north. All right, and so you see this brighter star up there. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Polaris. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is grab the time. And let's run this by, let's see, in hours. So where is Polaris? Let's do a search here quick.
Is this from a perspective of Austin?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So these trees in this
There's
building
Polaris.
I saw, is that an actual?
That's CGI. Don't worry about that. Let's look at the
okay.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize, the stars.
The Stellarium. So
You're
as
funny,
I-
Seth. You're funny. Are you sure that's real right there?
it's all CGI.
We live inside of a CGI simulation.
So
Looking at simulations of the simulation.
so when you do a star trail, what you do is you get the rotation of the star going around because of the long exposure, and then you stitch a bunch of images together, and that gives you a star trail image. Because you don't see the star trail here, what you have to do is actually just watch these stars as they're going around. And what's happening is, if you look, I don't know if you can see here, there's 3 stars that show up here around Polaris, and they're little offsets. So you should be able to see how they rotate around Polaris. All right,
You
and
can-
then
you
as the
can see-
daylight comes up, then you can't see them anymore.
Yeah, you can tell
Right.
they're moving counterclockwise. Go to the south
But-
now, Jason, before you
But
leave.
what we can do is we can turn off,
Okay. I see what you mean.
we can turn this night vision too, I think.
Not the military one, right?
Yeah, so when you do night vision, even at night, you'll still be able. I don't know. This doesn't show
Can't
up
see
too
the
well. I don't like
stars.
that
What
one.
are we looking for? Like the enemy? Is ISIS going to pop out behind that building or something?
Yeah.
No, there is another way to turn it off. Is there not?
I
To
think
make it normal.
there's ground off. Where's
Yeah, we want the ground.
atmosphere?
Atmosphere. Boom. There
So-
we go.
There
You
go.
got it. Jason knows how to. Jason's the programmer.
All right. So now you can see that they're rotating all of them around Polaris.
And if we go to the south after this, I'd like to go to the south. So in the south, you see in the night sky. So what we see here is the Big Dipper, right? That's what we see most commonly noticed in the north. And when you go in the south bottom 2 squares, they have a cross, right? Called the Southern Crux. Do you know it,
I've
Catherine?
seen it.
Yeah.
And then 180 degrees south of you, you should see there's basically nothing in the sky. It's a black spot. Where we have Polaris, you guys have like an anti-Polaris. And
All right, so what I'm gonna do now is move location. So right now we're going from Austin, which is 30 degrees north latitude. We're gonna jump down to roughly the equator now,
the equator.
and watch
Yeah,
watch
okay.
what's gonna happen to Polaris.
Wait, let's ask the panel. What do you guys think is going to happen to the star Polaris when Jason moves down? Everybody just quickly answer.
It's going to move down from your perspective.
Okay, he got it. You can do it, Jason.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that's great. I'm so happy you guys are catching that. Jason, go
All right,
ahead.
so I'm gonna click here near the equator now.
Boom. Now you got to go.
Where did it go? I actually have to move it up a little bit. Oh,
There
you
it
see it? There it is above the horizon.
Yeah.
So I had to
Right.
go above the equator to still be able to see it now. If I go a little bit farther south, boom.
It's got
Let me take off the ground.
boom. It's back.
You see where it is?
It's under the
I must-
earth, right?
Right.
Yeah, I clicked pretty close to the equator right there.
It's not under the earth. It's just that part of the sky isn't in your Google Glasses view anymore. You only have so
Right.
much view.
It's not so much above you.
But let's put the
anymore.
ground back. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
Nope.
Continue.
No, let's rotate this around 180 degrees now and look south.
Yeah, well, we do. Yeah, we want to look south, but we want to go more south as well. But yeah, good idea.
Watch what's going to happen.
Oh, southwest.
And there's a star called, what is it, Sigma Octantis? Is that what
It's
it is?
a region. A region.
It's
of
a
space.
region.
The Sigma Octans.
And see if we can find that.
Oh, that's not an actual star?
No, it's
There
an
is no
anti.
star at the center of the spot like Polaris is.
It's an empty void. It's called.
Oh, I had a misunderstanding on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But they rotate around that. The stars rotate.
Where's
around that.
the chart to search, Jason? I think it's the magnifying glass. There you go. Do we need the correct spelling? Here, I'll search the correct spelling for you.
That is the correct spelling, but
It
it's
is?
Southern Cross is right next to it.
Yeah, you can locate it in the same way you can locate Polaris off of the Big Dipper's arm.
No, actually, you spelled it wrong. You had ES at the end, but it's IS.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Octanus.
Let me try it again.
Sorry. I didn't pronunciate it correctly. See, everybody, the keywords are everything. If you don't have the correct keyword, you don't get it.
We got it right. Look at where it is, everybody. Did you see? Remember where Polaris was?
Yeah.
Right at the horizon. All right, so
Boom, look at that. Now we're looking south. Right?
we're
Is
looking
this
south.
from the equator?
Yeah.
Roughly. We're 14 minutes north of the equator
That's
here.
pretty close. That's pretty close.
So if you went to South Australia,
That's going to be a different. But,
Sigma Octantis would be right over your head, right?
but wait,
Well,
before we
so
jump
I'm-
away from this, go ahead, Jason.
I just want to take a click farther south.
But I just want to point out the significance of the spot you're on right now. The fact that
Okay.
we don't see any pole stars here. None. Right? If you were on a sphere and those pole stars were infinitely away, you would be able to see them, right? From this latitude and longitude.
From the equator, you should definitely be able to
Right.
see both directions, right?
On a sphere, because you're at the highest point. If we're standing right now on the top of a sphere, and Polaris and Sigma Octans are both equally like hundreds of billions of light years away, they say, or whatever the exact measurement is. It's ridiculously far. You should be looking down to your horizon and then out into outer space. In that angle, you should be able to see it as far as 10 degrees north or south of the equator. You should be able to see
Yeah, from the
both of them.
diameter of a ball, for sure.
Yeah, but this 3D simulation software program, because it's obviously what people have gone out and actually photographed, that you can't see either pole star from here. This completely debunks heliocentrism.
So I'm going to take a click farther south. Now I'm at 17 degrees south of the equator, and here it is up at this elevation when you're looking south.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're in southern Australia,
Boom. Look at their nice night sky.
look at how
Way
high
up, way up. Look at that. You guys are almost right under it. Like I am in north in Canada.
So are you just dragging
80.
a point on that little map there? How did you get there?
That's 88. You snapped on 88 degrees. So the if you rotate 88 degrees up into the sky, you will be heading straight to Sigma Octans from wherever you clicked. And that's almost exactly the same that it was from Bancroft in my cottage to Polaris in the north. Relatively.
Where do you see the 88?
Top second number, top of the degrees, boom, second number. 88.7, what is it, 88.57?
Yeah, this is probably
Azimuth?
azimuth. Yeah, because that's not elevation.
Yeah, rotate the sky for everybody. We're getting way too complicated. People are we want to try to keep it simple. But if you rotate the sky, we're going to show you guys in the north. We saw it move. Which way, guys?
Anti-clockwise?
Counterclockwise.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Catherine for 500.
Anti-clockwise, counterclockwise.
It'd be fun to do a truth or game show. It would be fun because the Shield team did it. Go ahead, yeah.
Here you go.
No, I think you're going the wrong way.
No.
Oh no, sorry.
South of the equator, looking south.
I was confused.
Which way is it going to rotate, brother?
Clockwise. I thought it was going counterclockwise for some reason. I'm dyslexic. But and now you can see there's the Southern Cross coming up on the bottom of the screen. Could you turn? Does the Southern Cross have like a sign where they'll show us the like pretty?
No, I tried, and
it's right there, everybody. And
this is something that Eric Dubay denies exists, right?
Denies exists.
Yes, Robotham denies it too.
Oh, and we had YouTubers that went out with the P900 at the time and did the star trails
filmed
live.
Showed them. And they tried to bring, what they did to reconcile this was their ad hoc theory was to take a tablet, like an iPad, and then a magnifying dome glass piece, and then try to...
Like a snow globe type thing.
A giant chunk of plastic in half of a snow globe shape, and then they would put that on the tablet, and then they'd hit play on the circling counterclockwise stars, trying to make them rotate clockwise inside the snow globe.
That was Jaron.
Yeah, that was Jaron. All right, that was the most retarded thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Besides when he tried to make the popsicle stick representation of the shadow debunked when I destroyed the AE map with that one. Right? Did you see that one, Seth?
No.
I shared a pergola that had a concrete wall that was built perfectly aligned with the sun's path because it was close to the equator because the sun travels straight twice a year. So Jaron tried to replicate that model with popsicle sticks and a sun trying to curve it while making the shadow go straight. It didn't work for him.
So I just want to make sure, does everybody understand how serious of a debunk this is of the Freemason New World Order AE map and model? Because here we're situated in South Australia, right? Yeah. And here we are looking south, and here we are looking up to Sigma Octans, right, looking due south, and this is the star trails that are created there. Now, here's another thing. You could be in Cape Town, South Africa, and you could look directly south.
Go there.
Right?
Show them.
Right?
Show them. And this, again, completely debunks the AE map and model. If everything in the AE map model is supposed to be circling around you in the center in Polaris, this is going the other way.
So Cape Town might not be quite as far south as, let's see, here's Cape Town on the list. This is 33 degrees, of course, no wonder. But there are parts of Southern Australia that are farther south than 33 degrees. So Africa, you can see here, is the one that really doesn't go that far south. So here we are looking south in Cape Town, directly south. We're looking at Sigma Octans, and here we are here. Right, so with the Freemason New World Order AE map and model, each one of these locations, you're looking out towards the dome. Right, that's what you'd be looking at is the dome. And so this star rotation right here shows you that no, you're not looking out at the dome. Right?
No one-
Not looking at the dome here.
No one has ever got a picture of the dome or a chunk of the dome. No one's ever witnessed anything to do with any dome. The scriptures say that there is an open, a vast expanse above our heads, which Yahweh hath hung everything in the sky. That's it. We are approaching quickly the end of the stream for tonight, Jason. I just wanted to let you know there was 5 minutes left.
So if we were in the Freemason New World Order AE map and model dome, what would be happening is the stars, if you look at where my cursor is over here, the stars would be just rapidly shooting across this wall in a horizontal fashion. Woof, woof, super, super fast. Just woof, woof, woof.
So with the sun and the moon,
That's great.
that's exactly the way it would have to happen.
Hey, do you guys remember the live stream you did a couple months ago where Ronnie was doing that woof, woof, and the sound just totally totally went out on you for like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Ronnie was going woof, woof, and the sound just died. That was a weird moment.
Jason and I both have issues with electronics, but what we found is that Apple products are and we're not working for Apple. I got definitely something against them with their whole logo and everything being the bite out of the apple. I just want to say that we break all electronics. Sometimes when I go to the grocery store, everything I touch, I get electrocuted. Jason too, but on the other hand, we've both been electrocuted and we take it pretty good. I just wanted to give everybody a chance to say goodbye now. Anybody that's on the call can stay. We'll talk for a little while after the hangout if you guys want. We like to do that off air. I think Brandon didn't get a chance to say hi. We'll do another one of these again next week, right, Jason? What say you?
No, I'm actually here.
Yeah,
saying hi
stay.
now.
Stay.
Yeah, I'll stay here and hang out with y'all.
Yeah, we just had a long week and we haven't eaten dinner yet. I just want to let everyone know.
Oh, wow.
The first and most important thing is that we come out here and try to give everybody a chance to talk, and we're definitely going to be giving you, Brandon, a lot more chances to talk. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to let you guys, Jason, you can take the mic. I'm going to take the screen share, and you guys can let me know when you're ready to go.
Yeah, let's go around and everybody, just sort of wrap it up for the live stream, but then please hang around. Catherine, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll just say bye for now.
Okay.
That's it?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seth? Joseph?
They're gone?
I'd like to say it was really good being here again, and I'm pressing forward with my plans here at the shop. I've got everything in order with the over Unity stuff. I'm getting ready to make videos, and I want to promote that. So, but yeah, I'm just was getting a bunch of canned food today, some water, kind of adding to my stock, for when the stuff happens, and just getting ready, man. Just really, that's all I've been really doing, and watching everything that's happening with the volcanoes and everything going on in the world. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely, we are probably going to enter the tribulation, man.
Yeah, we got Tishri 1, the Feast of Trumpets, coming up soon.
Hey guys, I had my mic muted. I just want to just read a scripture. 2 Timothy chapter 3. It says, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Yahweh, having a form of
godliness."
Oh, I can't say godliness.
Yeah.
Yahweh, but denying his power, have nothing to do with such people. So that's my final word.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And
Well,
I
that
like
was
that talk last time about the amen word. I didn't know that it really means like confirmation, or you're agreeing to like truth.
Truth.
Mhm.
And, you know, some people switch it and say, oh, I'm on Ra and all this other nonsense, but we didn't find any of that.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining, and please stick around, and we'll see y'all this next Sunday. The only place you're going to hear this is on Yahawashi News Network. Good night.
Stressed out kids come out to play. Let's go kick back for a change. Times are strange, but we still have our ways. So put on your new shoes. Let's chase away the blues tonight. The lights of the city are calling your name. Now on the town with your friends, doing it right. Pal around with the stars, like we're Princess Diana. You got a new sound now, so give it a try. All dressed up like royalty, take me somewhere heavenly. I'm still game to go on a living spree. So roll your sunroof down, cause you've been holding out. We're gonna get around tonight. The lights of the city are calling your name. Now on the town with your friends, doing it right. Pal around with the stars, like we're Princess Diana. You got a new sound now, so give it a try. Give it a try. The fireworks show we watch from the roof. The band on the front lawn playing for you. You shine us down, but my heart's on the loose. The fireworks show we watch from the roof. The band on the front lawn playing for you. You shine us down, but my heart's on the loose. The lights of the city are calling your name. Now on the town with your friends, doing it right. Pal around with the stars, like we're Princess Diana. You got a new sound now, so give it a try. Give it a try.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
Don't everybody speak at once.
We're not off air
Yeah.
yet. You guys are all fired. You're all paying a fine. You're all in big trouble. Urgh. We're not off air yet, but it's okay. I can end it. Oh.